PlayStation Vita is a really special handheld, so to speak. The PlayStation Vita is the successor to the extremely popular PSP, what sold over 83 million units. Now you probably ask yourself, if the PSP sold so well, then the Vita must be a huge success. Wrong.
Wrong, 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 wrong. Wrong, 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 wrong.
This handheld shows everything what is right and wrong in today's video game industry. So I would like to go back and revisit the PlayStation Vita in today's video. This is my PlayStation Vita right here. Yes, it's the first model with the OLED screen. Yes, the PlayStation Vita had a OLED screen way before people knew what a Switch was. No, I mean this Switch. Yes, this one. So let's start from the beginning. The PlayStation Vita was first announced at E3 2011 with the famous words, "Vita means life." And oh ho, let me tell you, the live station had some life. Not the best though. For today's standards, this is a small little boy. That's what she said. But this doesn't make this system anything worse. In fact, it makes it even better, even more portable. And I like portable, you like portable, we all like more portable. The Vita came with a 5-inch screen, or for my fellow Europeans out there, 12.7 centimeters, with aspect ratio of 60:9, OLED screen, or should I say OLED screen. The live station has a resolution of 960 to 544 pixels, aka QHD. It's not quite HD, but it's not far off, and with a smaller screen, it makes the resolution slightly less noticeable. And obviously the OLED screen has many advantages over cheaper normal LCD screen, like less ghosting, less motion blur, better brightness, better colors. And this overall, with a smaller screen and everything, it's all sharp, bright and colorful. This was actually also a negative of the first model of the PlayStation Vita. Because of the better screen, it will also draw more power, and drawing more power also means less battery life. But I would gladly take the less battery life over the better screen, because I think the better screen really makes a huge difference. Let's talk now about the CPU of the PlayStation Vita. The CPU, or should I say the heart of the PlayStation Vita, it's an ARM processor, an ARM Cortex A9. What was a low power quad-core CPU, but again for the time it was really advanced and really good. Memory-wise, the Vita was also not that bad. It had 512 MB of RAM and 128 MB of VRAM. Storage-wise, the Vita came with,
Well, we're waiting.
It had 0 GB, so it had no storage. But Sony and PlayStation, the PlayStation division, fixed that problem with the second model, the second revision, what had, drum rolls please, whopping, the second model had whopping 1 GB of internal storage. 1 GB? Wait a second. Wait guys, just wait a second. Jimmy, give me the script. Go. The script. Oh, it really only had 1 GB of internal storage. But fear not, because Sony had a great idea, great solution, and this solution are microcards. And now you think yourself, the glorious live station fixed that problem with memory cards. But there is a small catch to the story. You cannot really buy a cheap 64 GB micro SD card, put it in and be done. Because the PlayStation Vita had proprietary storage. With other words, you need Sony's own created micro SD cards, what are not really micro SD cards. So they cost extra, a half the Sony premium price. So great. I guess. This was a big reason why the PlayStation Vita failed at the end of the day. It could be easily avoided, but Sony, it's Sony. So yeah. One of the big reasons why Sony chose proprietary memory cards was because of piracy. Piracy was a really big problem in the PSP era. The PSP had a really big piracy problem, so Sony chose this solution. But this solution is not perfect. There was a bypass, and I hold this bypass right here. It's an adapter, a PS Vita adapter. It's a microSD adapter, so you put the microSD card here, like that, and you put this adapter right in your game slot. So here's the game slot, you put the card right here, and this is the solution. So there was still a way to pirate, so Sony, you done goofed. Because at the end of the day, piracy will always exist. I think they should not fight piracy but fight for the consumer. Because the problem is when companies try to be anti-consumer to fight piracy. Because at the end of the day, your anti-consumer practices will not hurt the pirate, but the consumer base who really spent their hard work money, their hard earned money on your products. I think we should start mentioning the games. The Vita had many great games, but mostly obscure, unique and niche games. Really niche games. Like Touch My Katamari, that's what she said. Or some really mostly beloved games from really beloved franchises like JRPGs, like Tales of Hearts R, Disgaea 3 and 4, Summoning Night 6, the Digimon games, and let's not forget the visual novel games, because the Vita had really many visual novel games. I'm not a huge visual novel guy, but I can appreciate the number of visual novels on the PlayStation Vita. Where the Live Station didn't shine and most likely failed was due to the lack of first-party big AAA graphically intensive Sony games. It really didn't have that many games like Killzone, Uncharted. It had a couple of them who I now listed, but really didn't have that many. I mean, I can count them on my fingers using only one hand, and not even utilizing all of my 5 fingers. That's how small this number is. It really didn't have that many first-party Sony games, that's why the system most likely failed. So, you probably ask yourself, okay, the Vita had really advanced hardware for its time, it was really advanced, it had really many like unique, niche, obscure games like visual novel, JRPGs, point-and-click adventures. So you probably ask yourself, what was Sony's plan for the catching for the big audience, for the mainstream gamers? Well, Sony didn't really had an answer for this. You see, Sony really didn't realize the difficulties, the problems of creating big, huge AAA graphically intensive games for a small handheld. It didn't really help that most people saw handheld games as a lesser game, a lower quality, smaller game, and those games are mostly also cheaper, sold for a price of around $50 or €50. While console games are sold for much more, for $20 or euro more. So normal games were for this time like $60, €60, and for handheld games like $40, €40. The PlayStation Vita, it's not a bad handheld, it's just falsely advertised. Sony advertised this system as like the big killer, the PlayStation 3 hardware, PlayStation 3 graphics on the go, Uncharted on the go, big AAA games on the go. But it's really not that. The PlayStation Vita, it's more a niche system for a niche audience. I am one of those audiences and I can really appreciate the system, but it's not really a system for everyone. So you really need to know, are those games for you or not? In summer 2021, Sony decided to close its PlayStation 3 and PlayStation Vita store, but because of the big fan backlash, Sony decided to delay the closure of those stores. Sadly, it's just a question of when, not if, when it comes to the closure of those stores. So if you are really interested in buying some of those PlayStation 3 and PlayStation Vita games online, I highly recommend doing it now, because sooner or later those stores will be gone, shut down and over. So if you are watching this video, maybe already those stores are closed, so I don't know when you are watching this video. But if you are watching it now and those stores are still not closed and you want to buy something online, buy it now. So yeah guys, this was my retrospective on the PlayStation Vita, looking back at it, its flaws, advantages, disadvantages. So yeah, I really like the Vita, but what you think about the PlayStation Vita, it's really important. So let me down below what you think about the PlayStation Vita, I will be reading all of your comments. With this out of the way, I wish you all a wonderful day. Sayonara my good old friends. Ciao.